Hamas officials say a number of Palestinian families have been hit by an Israeli airstrike on a camp for displaced people in Gaza. They say at least 19 were killed in a safe zone designated by Israel. Israel says it was targeting Hamas militants who were directly involved in carrying out the October 7th terror attacks.
Tents in tatters at the crowded camp, where an overnight attack left a huge crater. The large encampment in southern Gaza's Khan Younis was designated a humanitarian zone by Israel. But those sheltering from the war here say the so-called safe zone did not spare those killed.
At midnight, we were hit by a barrage of missiles, around 6 of them. I don't know what the aim was, the children, the women or the elderly. People were flying all over. We're peaceful. We have nothing to do with the resistance. We were sleeping, thinking we were safe. Where do we go now?
Israel's military said its fighter jets targeted a disguised Hamas command and control complex in the humanitarian area, and that its forces relied on intelligence and used precise munitions to avoid civilian casualties. But families of victims have a different account. A targeted tents, civilians, women, children. How can tents withstand a strike that powerful? It's not like we're housed under concrete. It's just tents, made out of a thin fabric, nylon. For them to strike it with this strength, it doesn't add up. No words. There are no words. Bodies arrived at the nearby hospital, where mourning families gathered for prayers. This man, holding his injured daughter, says her sister was killed by the strike.
We were buried under sand, my 2 daughters, their mother and I. I got out, started looking for them, and saw body parts from my neighbors in my tent.
The strikes were among the deadliest yet in Al-Mawasi. While Israel maintains it was a targeted strike, Hamas, widely classified as a terror group, denies its militants were present in the area.
Now let's bring in Shaina Low from the Norwegian Refugee Council. Shaina, what is your information on today's attack in Al-Mawasi?
We haven't gotten much from our staff who are sheltering in Deir el-Belah. But what we do know is that this is not the first time that we've seen civilians targeted and killed in what is unilaterally designated by Israel as a safe zone. Civilians must be protected no matter where they are, whether they're in these so-called safe zones or not. But what we've seen time and time again is that there simply is no safe place in Gaza, and the only way to protect civilian life and prevent further death is for a ceasefire.
Now, Israel says that a Hamas command center was located in the area that was attacked. Does that make it a legitimate target?
Well, I don't have all the facts of who was there and what was there, but international humanitarian law has 3 main principles that need to be abided by. That's the principle of distinction, so distinguishing between military or armed combatants and civilians. Precaution, which means taking steps to minimize civilian harm, and proportionality. And that means that ensuring that the civilian casualties are proportionate to the military advantage that would be gained by targeting Palestinians. The numbers that we've seen in Gaza, tens of thousands, nearly 41,000 Palestinians killed, would indicate that over the last several months, Israel has not been abiding by those rules of international humanitarian law.
Now let's talk about these safe zones. How has the situation for locals and displaced people there changed in recent months?
Well, in August alone, there were 16 relocation directives issued by the Israeli military. They often call these evacuation orders, but these do not amount to lawful evacuations. Palestinians are being pushed into a smaller and smaller space. The so-called humanitarian zone is only about 13% of Gaza, and there's currently a density of around 30,000 people or more per square kilometer. People are living in unimaginable conditions without access to food, water, sanitation services, and really are struggling to get the basic needs and essentials that they need in order to survive. These people have not been guaranteed their right to return home once hostilities have ended, which is necessary for a lawful evacuation.
Shaina Low there from the Norwegian Refugee Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you.